Cubs pitching gave up 30 runs in the 3-game series. You worried?
I wouldn't be too worried. First of all, this is bound to start happening as the weather warms up too. The wind blows out a little bit more. You know, maybe not the best look, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. They're getting Seiya back. They're getting Shota back, excuse me. So some of their pitching staff will be more complete. They've got some decisions there. Maybe they go 6-man. Maybe they knock somebody out of there. But I wouldn't be too concerned. They got a hot offense that rolled into town with, let's tip the cap, by the way. You mentioned that stat about Cal Raleigh. Like, please stop and acknowledge what this guy's doing. He's the rare...
31 home runs
It's
now.
insane. He's the rare, like, best defensive catcher of the game. Oh, and he's also going to hit, 40-something, 50 home runs this year. It's incredible. But they caught a buzzsaw of an offense for the weekend. I wouldn't be too concerned about it, especially with Shota coming back.
I got to take the other position. I mean, if we're being honest about this, right, like, is this not 3 seasons in a row where we've seen Cubs pitching start to fall off as the season's getting to the midway point and kind of finishing out the year? This is where I get nervous about this Cubs team. We see the offense. I think what makes me feel a little bit better about this team this year, the offense doesn't seem like it's going to fall off like we've seen in previous seasons where it's kind of just bottomed out by the end of the year. But to me, the pitching is where we've been talking about this team for 3 years in a row now, and we still haven't addressed enough of the issues if you're a Cubs.
You worried about Colin Ray? Gets beat up again today.
That's the one I might be worried about more than anything. And if you're going to move from, if you're not going to go to 6 and go to 5, you wonder if he's the odd man out or if it's Ben Brown.
Well, Ben Brown's going to get his chance tomorrow. He's going to get a chance tomorrow. Louis.
Yeah, the one that I might be worried about would be Colin Ray a little bit.
Yeah, I would think Ben Brown is the one that you have to kind of question right now, right? That's the guy. It's just the Cubs need consistency. And you haven't gotten consistency from Ben Brown to this point. That's, to me, who I would probably expect to be either put to the bullpen or even option possibly.
I still like his ability to miss bats, though, more. And that's what I think I would kind of ride that a little bit more if they could. So.
All right, everyone feeling like Imanaga's going to get the start on Wednesday.
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, usually 5 days in between.
So if he moves into the rotation, let's just play this out. Let's say that Brown pitches well on Monday night. Then where do they go with the rotation?
6-man or somebody's out.
Yeah.
You could do 6. I don't know that it's the end of the world to stretch everybody out an extra day either. We've seen teams do it, at least go through experimental trials with, maybe a 6-man. But somebody might be the odd man out. I think ultimately that's what they'll settle on. That's what I would assume at some point.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I do think even with a good start, can you trust Ben Brown? I mean, he's given up, I believe, 11 earned runs in the last 3 starts. That's kind of when you get to the point where it's like, okay, you're not giving us the consistency we need. Yes, you do have that ability to miss bats. Yeah. The problem is you're not missing bats when we need you to miss them, and the ball's leaving the yard a lot of times. So I think to me that's the part where if you're gonna do 6, I would be interested just to not kill the confidence, but it's kind of seeming like he's probably odd man out right now.
How desperate are we to see Jed Hoyer make a trade for a frontline starter?
Have the Cubs been a baseball team the last 3 seasons? I mean, this is the conversation again like we've been having.
But now? I mean, now or do you wait until the end of July?
You
think it's still early?
Yeah, and I think there's I think it's too wide open right now. I think it's still too fluid. You don't really know who is going to be available and who's not, who's going to maybe fall out of it in the next couple of weeks. It's still pretty fluid. And so I wouldn't anticipate it happening anytime soon, but I do think that's #1 priority. I think whoever the best guy is going to be available, go get him if you can.
If we're being real about this, though, the fear is that we clearly see that you may need a guy. Are you going to go get that guy? That's been the conversation around Jed Hoyer and his Cubs team the last few seasons, where we need you to go out there and add this guy that's going to get us to the playoffs and get us through the playoffs. We haven't seen them have that the last couple of seasons, to have that guy that's going to steady this bullpen, steady this lineup out, and actually help them to get to the playoffs.
Let me jump in about Seiya Suzuki. He had a couple of home runs. Yeah. He's got 20 now. He had been slumping a little bit just earlier this week, but he comes up with 2 dingers in this game. And you look at the All-Star voting, he's way behind Shohei Ohtani. And now Rafael Devers, who's now in the National League, for the DH spot. Is there any way to get Suzuki in the Midsummer Classic?
I mean, he could still make it via, how do they do, the managers could still fill out the back end of their roster with Seiya. I mean, I think on merit, he's pretty deserving for what he's done this year. I mean, you look at the slug and the power numbers, he's been good. The top half of their order is really good and really dangerous. It's what's helped get them to this point, obviously. They're a scary offense. I mean, they are. And
Happ's getting hot.
And he is. I mean, all of a sudden, Happ is really hot in the last 10 days or so. And they're a scary good offense. They run the bases well. They've got a ton of speed. They got a lot of slug. They're a really, really good offense.
Yeah, I think that just off of, like Carm said here, the coaches are going to look at this and say, the managers, I should say, are going to look at this and say, there's no way we can leave this guy off of the National League roster. I would assume how he's been playing, he's been dominating. Yes, you talk about that slump that he had. There was that little bit of time there where he kind of wasn't putting the ball out there, but he sees the ball incredibly well, and I think that's the thing you can't take away from him. He's one of those players I think managers look at and they go, yeah, that's one of the best players in the league right now.
The outfield DH is so loaded in the NL. That's where you've got Tucker, you got PCA. I mean, Soto's not having a great year, but you're going to get a lot of fan vote. You've got, you know, for the DH spot, you got Shohei, you got Devers now, you got Corbin Carroll, Fernando Tatis. I mean, come on. It's like it's loaded in the National Leagues.
How did you feel about Sammy coming back on Friday after 21 years away from the friendly confines?
I'm not a Cub fan, so it's easy for me. Like, I don't have an emotional attachment to it. With that said, it was like, what was the delay? What was this all about? I'll never understand Tom Ricketts' stance on that. It made zero sense. He's never really explained it. I've always been somewhat...
Will he ever admit to his wrongdoings?
Sammy?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess you kind of got
care?
like... No.
Do people care?
No. I mean, I'm sure people care, yes. I'm sure plenty of people care. I don't. And I don't know what Tom Ricketts' problem was. He didn't own the team when Sammy was here, when Sammy was the #1 attraction, when they basically created that monster. That organization created that monster, and then they ran wild with it. What did Tom Ricketts have to do with it? Nothing, other than sit in the bleachers and cheer him on, probably. The whole thing is ridiculous.
I love that Sammy came back. I think I give Sammy a little bit more credit, if we're being 100% honest, because Sammy could have been the guy who's like, no, you turned on me. I don't have to come back. I give Sammy a tremendous amount of credit walking back in there, doing it for Cubs fans. Probably, you know, I doubt that we're really talking about this being a thing that's done for Tom Ricketts, who, like you said, had nothing to do with any of this when Sammy was in there hitting home runs, and more than likely was in the stands hoping he went to the World Series to get the job done.
How about the White Sox? They win a series in Toronto for the first time since 2019.
Bad.
Come on, we got something to get excited about, Carl.
Not bad, Lou, not bad. It's about
Louis
time.
Robert Jr. hits a 441-foot home run. Is this going to help his trade value?
I don't think so. Not much. I mean, they'll take whatever they can get right now for him, but it's been a pretty quick fall from grace, unfortunately. So the fourth outfielder that somebody feels like they need, a bat off the bench, somebody will take him. I would think that the Sox still try to move him. I know. I mean, it kind of stinks you're selling low, but...
You know, real quickly, we had rookie catcher Kyle Teo in the lineup on Friday, along with Edgar Caro. And I know that Will Venable said, oh, no, just an emergency situation. I'd like to see them both in the lineup at the same time.
I'd like to see him get at bats a lot. I mean, what else is this? What else are we talking about here? That's what this is for. That's what, you know, you're going to try to... Not everybody wants to develop their guys at the big league level. Sometimes that can be tricky, but... Think about the state that they're in. Let them go. You brought them up. Let's see what they can do. Get them a lot of at-bats.
And the answer is obvious. I mean, Carroll's the better of the two catchers right now.
Yeah.
He's the better defensive catcher. I think he's 8 for 10 on the season, getting guys trying to steal on him, going to second. So, to me, the answer is obvious. You're going to have to switch Kyle Teal's position. Start the process now, whether it's going to be first base, whether it's going to be left field. Get this guy used to playing that at the major league level, because his bat is major league ready. You can't send him down back down to AAA for him to do what? Crush home runs off of guys that he knows he's better than? Like, I'd rather see him go up against big league pitching right now, and I'm a big Kyle Teel guy.
I'm with you. All right.